So, I'd like each and every single one of you to gather around the table and let me tell you all a Voden fable. To gather around for the tale of these survivors, the tale of the looming corruption, and that of a jaded destiny. For this be the infamous tale of the Valley of Dreams, and the legendary tale of the Soulbound. It was here, previously, our heroes were found in the forest of the Jaded Dragon Valley, and a strange mist formed amongst them all, seeking to turn their insides out as they'd all be attacked by this fog and several dozen spider creatures. But that being said, not mechanical like before, but just as deadly, if not more. Eventually, the individuals were able to succeed in victory and gather themselves before heading to a small campsite. It was here they'd find a bloodied mess before finding a powerful Leonin samurai, killing the likes of a bear who attacked that very site. It was learned that his name was Hannibal and he hailed from Leonios, a world not of Voden, but he would explain how he was taken by an astral warrior, wielding a firearm who had captured him from familiar individuals in Smooth Vial, Vruk Trials, and more. What Hannibal would also explain was that marks upon their hand could manifest, and he'd teach Zaman how to manifest his as he speak into the mark, seeking the likes of Nephiba Morga and other strange individuals. That said, survivors, listen now. With you sending a message to these individuals, how will they respond? But more importantly, something looms and seeks to make its presence known. We'll have to learn more in Session 7 of Valley of Dreams. All right, right on time. That said, also, oh, hey, look at that. Hey, what's up, Tito?
What's up? Audio only for a minute.
I got you. You good. All right. I'll look over. Oh, yeah, the overlay worked out perfectly. Damn. All right, dope. So, let me send you guys over to your previous map and let me explain where we left exactly. Get you guys here. Boom. It'll probably mess up the lighting, but that's fine. Wait, did it? There it is. All right. Yeah, it did mess up the lighting, but that's fine. I can fix that real quick. We'll change it to day, we'll change it to night. All right. That said, it's doing a whole bunch of lagging and whatnot now. It's gonna be acting stupid through the session, but that's fine. I can load another one of them in the background. So, as we pick up exactly where we left off, you see as Hannibal begins to mention the likes of his gods that he follows. And upon doing so, one being the Leonin god of might, Natashi, and the second being the storm and sea god, in Susanoo. As this occurred, the sky shattered before you, and you'd look over and about, and it would turn from a darkened sky of night to a brightened sky of day. That said, as this begins to occur, you see as Hannibal just sort of slightly looks up, not really moving his head, but only his eyes, and then just begins to continue. He seems to be definitely used to this. It doesn't really faze him, as for the most part you guys as well, unless you want it to. But at this point, as I sort of mentioned, what would you guys all like to say, and what would you all like to do?
I think go ahead, Zaman. No, go ahead, Zaman.
I talked all the last session, bro. You got it.
All right. The thing with Zora is, as she's been sitting here listening to everything, watching Hannibal and Zaman talk about the marks and everything Zaman just did to communicate with others. You know, feeling of course tired. I mean, it's been a long day for them. I think she was curious as like what's going to be happening next. So she'll ask these tyrants you spoke of, Hannibal. How do you plan on taking him or her out? And is it something that you could utilize assistance for?
You'll see as he begins to sort of think and sort of sigh for a moment before saying, "Oh, I do not have exactly schematics or plans as of yet, but I know the goal that I am striving towards. It is liberation from their rule. That said, though I have goals and aspirations, I take things one step at a time, so I'm always accomplishing something. If I was to guess on what would be necessary, as you kind of mentioned before, they do have people. That is probably their strongest suit, but also the likes of them are unknown, which makes them most dangerous. It would be foolish to lead a head-on assault without knowing in the proper situation and what they wield. Reconnaissance would be necessary, at least.
Who is these tyrants? What is their name? How did they rise to power? And more importantly, what are the atrocities this person has committed upon the people, the Ishtarians?
For the Ishtarans, hell, this individual, let me get all my notes out. Oh boy. One moment, please. Alright. I have their name, but you're asking for what they have done. Why is it taking forever to load? Anyways. While that's loading in the background, he'll just say, I do not know their first name, but I do know at least that these individuals go by the name of the Zhao Dynasty. Zhao Dynasty. And for that, oh boy, you spell that Z-H-O-U. Simple as that.
So just essentially he's saying that this tyrant, did he give the name yet?
Yes. He doesn't have a specific name on the individual.
Yeah.
He just has the name that they are kind of being referred to. Yeah.
Okay. The Zhao Dynasty is currently ruling, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
As again, he only has brief interactions with them as just traveling this area, you know?
Yeah.
Why the hell? I cannot open up my freaking... I guess we can call it the deep notes for some reason. I'm like searching it up, but it just does not want to actually find it. All right.
They're too deep, clearly.
I guess so. I opened them up literally today. Here, I'll just open up Word and then find it manually. As this the last thing I opened up? Okay. All I know, well, I don't know much about them, but there are lots of rumors going on about them from the individuals that I've sort of walked past. Individuals underneath their rule simply have tried to kill me because of me straying off of the path. Before, Straying off of the path in the way of the blade would just result in exile, to never return. But these individuals, they decide to make that result in your death.
You're saying this Zhao dynasty, in some form or fashion, they're beginning to pervert the Bushido code. Or the way of the blade.
Possibly, but I do not know if it is truly what they believe or if it is because of fear, something controlling them. I do not know. I do know that, well, they are determined to at least follow their rule at the moment.
Well, regardless of its fear that drives them or something else beyond what we can see, they themselves sound like they are going against the code. A warrior only has one judge of honor and character, and that is themselves. Decisions they make and how these decisions are carried out are a reflection of who they truly are. You may hide and fear others, but you cannot hide from yourself. This is the way of the code.
This is true. However, it's hard to say. Well, it's hard to sort of argue with them when they have so many individuals behind them backing them, as well as, well, martial prowess as well to force them in line. To uphold destiny, or at least their perverted version of honor and tradition.
Hearing this, Zaman would say, destiny is it's a tool the gods use to control us. There's no such thing as destiny. Make our own path and our own fate.
I suppose, but I sort of look down towards his armor and whatnot and just say, however, that may be true, but I know for myself that I have already strayed too far from the path, and I seek to walk it once more. Whether that be to bring back old ideals or not, it must be for something.
How does he look like his armor and stuff? Like, does he seem as though he's been going through a lot?
Make a, I guess a perception check with sight, so advantage. Or you could make an insight check, that's your other choice.
She'll go. She'll go perception. That's alt, right? I keep forgetting.
Yeah, it's alt. Take the 21. With the 21, you look over at him, and the armor itself and the blades, they have been very well kept. However, looking at the person, though they seem knowledgeable, they definitely, even from your kind of a sort of perception check and the way that they've sort of carried themselves, they've definitely sort of experienced a lot, and definitely a change. You yourself, Azora, I mean, you couldn't really imagine probably being taken from your own place, or in the sense of your own, well, world, and being, well, thrusted into a almost hellscape like this. There was similarity for you, but at the same time, nothing like out into the wilderness, kill or be killed sort of vibe.
Yeah, understood. She'll, you know, looking at all that, and she'll say to him, "It is, I'm sure, an incredible story you have leading up to now. I'm sure you have seen many battles. Despite what those individuals with the Zhao dynasty believe, if you are still willing to do things like escort these two here to wherever their homes are, that shows that no matter the past, you still have your honor intact. No one can judge you but you."
That is true. That is true. An interesting subject for the matter and whatnot. But I am actually curious of all of you in the sense. And look around. A simple question, answer truthfully or don't answer at all. Do you think in these lands with everything the way they are, do you believe that honor is dead?
Azura said, so long as you uphold honor, it is not dead. I walk every day in that long shadow. It is not about being fancy or well-liked or high charisma, but honor is heroic courage. Hiding like a snail in a shell is not living at all. A true warrior must have heroic courage. It is absolutely risky, yes, but it is living life completely, fully, and wonderfully. Heroic courage is not blind, it is intelligent and strong. Honor is what you bring, it's what you do. She gestures over to her companions. They could probably tell you, sometimes I'm quite annoying with it, but there are many things that I warn them to not do out of respect and honor. And then she'll motion to the others.
I see. What of the rest of you?
Gore would probably be like, honor? Gore knows honor. That's why he makes sure it's a quick one, get some rest. And he kind of like nuzzled himself, leaning back into some of that bear fur, kind of relaxing.
Cannibal will actually question or add on to Gore and question. You say you have honor, but you wield a forbidden magic of hemocraft.
Is that what you call the gift the god gave me? He honored Gore in that way.
Sort of just chuckles to himself. Well, what of all of you? The others?
Zaman will say, honor. I was once very honorable, and I devoted myself to something, and I was betrayed. What is honor when it is not reciprocated?
Let's see. And of you, probably looking towards Cora, because you're the second closest. Cora, if you're speaking, your mic's muted. Also, while this is here, Agni, you have received a D8 inspiration point from Zale. There you go.
Oh shit! Thank you.
Boom, boom. If Cora remains quiet, he will look towards the likes of Addy Dark or Agni if he's listening. Oh, there you go.
There we go. Sorry. Honor, of course. In the battlefield, that is where it's all gained.
I should Spitfire then.
Azura's gonna take a moment, like hearing what Zaman said, and she's just gonna like kind of go over to him. I don't know if are you sitting down, Zaman?
Yeah.
Or are you? Okay. And she walks over. She places like one hand on your shoulder gently, and she says, "Remember, my good friend, honor is not something that you expect in return when doing something. What you speak of is more like respect. Honor is just the way that you behave regardless of the things around you. It is the anchor of the boat in a brazen storm. Winds moving, thunder blaring, lightning striking, but you remain still in that storm. That is your honor. Never changing, or it is not." And like she gives you like a warm smile, and then she sits down next to you.
Zaman will reply, Azura, as you know, I am one with quite the resolve, and my dedication is unwavering unless something drastic happens. Now I am questioning all I've known and all I probably will know. But to your point, maybe I should not waver in my convictions.
Yeah. She just nods to you again warmly, and then looks back at Hannibal.
He'll do this next if he's notices. Agni, are you even, or here, I guess we'll make a perception check for him. Perception. Oh god, it's taking forever to load. Oh goodness. All right, perception. Nah, 7. He will probably wait for any other responses. And if hearing none, he will say, "It is interesting. It does. I would be lying to you if I said that I didn't question whether keeping my honor would be enough to deal with a tyrant like that." And I'll look towards the sort of hilt of the blade, and also look towards the several vials amongst his sort of waist. Differing liquids and greens and sort of reds and blues of the sorts.
Do I know what they are? The liquids?
Make a medicine check. $11? I mean, they could be potions, but typically potions don't really come in the form of vials. More so. Oh, hold up. I think we lost on Discord. Hold up. Chat, can you hear me?
Yeah, I was like, oh, he just left us.
All right. Oh, I guess it loaded on Discord. I don't know what that was. I think Discord automatically updated and just kicked me out. Wait, what the hell? Alright, that was weird. Let me get that fixed back up. Boom. That was weird. Let me check. Okay, we're all good. Anyways, crap, what was he saying?
You said the
vials
potions usually don't come in the different colors. That's the last thing I heard.
Not different colors. They don't come in the form of vials. Typically, they come in the form of bottles or, you know, bigger.
Copy.
So they could be something else, maybe something alchemical or something else alchemical, but it's only 11. Not able to, or not too sure.
Fair.
What they do kind of, because you're right beside them, they do kind of move without really, even at a resting position, just constantly sort of swirling about. But in times like this where individuals resort to their primal roots, you do wonder whether, well, at least I do, but you wonder whether it will be enough to sort of only upkeep honor and be able to sort of let it flourish or let it crumble. As it is, well, he's getting ready to say a word and then just stops himself, starting with a C, and then
Gore would kind of be like, "Big one, don't you think you should just respect honor as it is? Gore protects the little ones. That's his honor. You're way too big to be concerned if you should uphold what you do."
not necessary. I will say this. Though I question, or I have questioned it before, I know what I seek now, and know which path that I shall walk. But I fear that others will not walk said path alongside me, and instead will continue to resort to paths of chaos and more.
Well, that's what honor is, big one. We all walk our own path. Gore, he will crush a god. For his honor, he will do that. It just so happened the little ones also align with me. It all just works out.
In this case, well, we'll have to see. And as this begins to happen, Zaman, you look down, and all of those around will begin to see as the mark begins to shine even brighter upon the palm of his hand, and it looks as if it's getting ready to detach itself from you as it begins to pulse more and more. As the mark detaches, you see as it begins to grow in size and expand outwards over the flames. You look over and you see the ever-changing sands, but also the same individuals from before as they reappear. However, for the first time that any of you have seen, you hear an audible response as an individual with one horn begins to sort of speak into the mark and to you. Oh boy, here we go. This one.
Hey there, weird hologram. I'm Zale Xanakis. I don't know how you're talking through this triangle, but it's a nice to meet you, I suppose. We're on a floating island in the Forbidden Expanse. Might have heard of it, might have not. Yeah, we're kind of just exploring right now. Where are you? Hey there.
And it just kind of repeats over and over again, waiting for a response. What do you say, and what do you all do?
Zaman will say, Zael, is nice to meet you. We are currently in Jaded Dragon Valley. I don't know how we are connected. I don't know how these marks on our hair work. But maybe we're supposed to be talking to each other and exchanging information. Many of us woke up here, but not understanding where we were, and sometimes who we are. I don't know if you're having similar issues on your side.
As this begins to happen, you say out the response. Does anybody else say anything? Or do anything?
We actually see it.
Yeah, you've seen it every single time it's happened.
Got you. Yeah, I don't know if Gore would say anything.
Okay.
So we just see Zell, correct?
Yeah, you do.
Does he look like an oculi?
Make a perception check with sight. All three is in Korra, Zaman, and Azura.
She don't see much of Nathan. It's kind of blurry, you know.
Different these. Oh boy. 23. Korra, you're easily well, here, we'll start from the bottom. So 7 and 8. You definitely see there's something weird with their eyes, but it's sort of the thing, that's not really the thing that you kind of focus on when you're looking at their appearance. The main thing that you focus on is their 2 horns amongst their person. And as it begins to become clear, you all see this individual, commissioned by Finn. Oh boy.
Does he remind me of Gore or Agni?
With the horns, yeah, but for some reason this individual, one horn seems to be sort of lobbed off, the other one whole. You yourself, you've never seen a humanoid with that sort of feature. I mean, you've seen tieflings, but typically their skin is completely changed. This is more of almost a humanoid with maybe tiefling features, but not really. Not really.
Yeah, Zora say.
Well, hold on, real quick.
Okay.
Because we got to go into Korra's thing. Korra, as you look over towards the individual, you know immediately they're an oculi. And the reason why is because of you looking towards their eyes, it rings all too familiar with them. Though the individual themselves, I mean, they kind of seem familiar, but not too much. But the main thing is that eye, that symbol of red, rings true. You know them to be of the Yasuda clan. No roll needed on history, as you remember almost how you say experience them sort of almost living amongst them even, or at least witnessing them almost daily, as it begins to almost become true and to you as you begin, or all these memories begin to just sort of flow into your head. The Yasuda, you knowing them because they are individuals who deal with telepathy, being able to speak into one's mind, and more. If you want, you can maybe make a history check with disadvantage if you want to learn more about them than that, but that's up to you, Korra. what's that? A 9. Not much. So, as you kind of try to recall upon memories and more, just trying to delve further and further, you remember just not really speaking much. Often really being seen as, well, mutes, even. Rarely ever sort of speaking out loud, unless to people not of their clan. But besides that, everything else seems to sort of evade you. Alright.
Copy.
That's it. What do you, or is there anything else you guys say or do into the mark?
Yeah, so seeing it, Azor would think of, like, I mean, I don't know if this is, I mean, maybe just because it's Finn's artwork, but the horn on Agni looks almost exactly alike. So she'll say that his horn is quite similar to Agni's. Perhaps there's some infernal connection that they both share.
Hearing that, Zaman will call over to Agni and ask Agni if he's familiar with this person.
Agni will look up. No.
Agni, make an insight check.
You wanted me or Zaman to do it?
Agni.
Oh.
15. As you look at them, no, they don't seem familiar. But some strange reason. It's, though you're not a foolhardy individual by any means, you being more calm, when you want to, calm and collected. You look over towards that individual, and for some strange reason, you just feel as if, maybe could beat him in a fight. Maybe. Simple, just some strange feeling, just like, I don't know why. I don't know why.
It's the lack of horns. Less horns, less power.
Something. You not knowing why, it's just like you don't have any connections to this individual. It's just something kind of deep within, something deeply rooted. Oh man. Goodness.
Agni just goes back to work.
Easy enough. Max is like, that's it, put me in, coach. Oh goodness.
So
it begins. Yeah, our groups are gonna hate each other. So it begins.
Oh man.
Azura wants to ask Philo if, she was saying these symbols, and she'll like show the one on her hand. She'll say, do you know if there's special ways to activate each one individually, or do they all work the same as the one Hannibal and Zaman have?
Philo will just say, he kind of like, he looks, actually, wait, no. Actually, no, he wouldn't respond. You look over at him and he's actually,
he's
dozing,
right,
he's dozing at the moment.
Yeah, I forgot, he's asleep,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, Yeah, so then she wouldn't do that then. Yeah, she'll sit there and just she'll think, she'll look over everybody seeing their like weariness on a lot of them. She'll say, well, perhaps we get a good rest and then we could restart fresh.
As this sort of happens, Zaman, you begin to see as the mark begins to shift and change once more, and the visions begin to almost manifest, and you look over as you no longer see inside the sands or the deserts, but instead it begins to focus in on a specific individual, a purple tiefling man walking amongst the Arctics of the Asia, traveling with several individuals before you see as it shifts again to the likes of a small sort of myconid mushroom warrior found in an arena with several individuals. And as the mark is slowly beginning to fade, only having several seconds before you know what comes next and it returns to your palm, what do you say to either of them?
Zaman would say, hello, if you can hear me. My name is Zaman. I am in Jaded Dragon Valley. I believe we are connected in some way. Please respond. He would say that to both of them.
And as that happens, the mark begins to form upon your hand, and the visions all begin to fade. You see as one of the triangles, or excuse me, the triangle upon your hand, one of the corners begins to slowly almost wrap around the other, or to the opposite side of your hand, rather than the palm, but only one corner. Seems to be one part, or part of it's been activated. Time for the other two. We lost to Sean. Oh no. He'll join back in a minute. That said, as it begins to return, is there anything else you guys say or do?
And you just see Zaman like looking at his hand very curiously.
I think Gore is deep nestled in bear pelt, like half knocked out, if not already slipping in sleep.
Easy enough.
Zaman will say, I know everyone is tired and weary, but should we figure out who will take watches, just in case something happens?
Zora also said, I'll rest here next to Philo and make sure no beasts come out at night.
Zaman will say, well then I guess I will take this other side. And he will call his owl to help him during his watch.
Alright. As that happens, do I have the thing? Hopefully it loads on. I gotta re-download it. That's fine. Give me one moment, Zaman. But as you're calling the owl, you do see as it begins to slowly manifest and morph from your person, begins to drop down simply onto the ground.
Right. Zaman would talk to him and said, Hedwig, please look high above us as I look below.
We'll see as it nods and continues forth. I gotta load it this way. Alright. Hopefully this works. Character, NPC. That work? Hey, it worked. Dope. Alright, and then let's make them smaller.
Say that's a big owl.
There you go. Alright. As that happens, you'll see as they begin to nod and then take flight, sort of scouring about the area. heading into the trees and around. Alright. That's what you're doing, Zaman. What of the rest of you? Alright. So, Adidark, Korra, and Agni, are you all bedding down then, going to sleep?
I am. I'm climbing into a tree to assume the koala position.
You got it. It doesn't matter. You're able to do so after a bit of time. No athletics roll needed. You climb into a tree. How far do you climb?
I guess, like 10 feet.
10 feet?
Yes.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Adidargle begins to place himself in the likes of a tree and begins to rest. Korra, are you going to rest as well?
She'll do the first lookout on this side. This
Alrighty.
place is kind of big, so she'll do the first lookout over here while Addie's asleep. I assume she can be able to see Addie in this area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. So that's what they're doing. And Agni, are you going to sleep or nah?
He's gonna take first watch as he finishes up with his and Korra's weapons. So then he'll go to sleep second watch, because I don't know what the watches is, but he'll wake someone up on the second watch.
Gotcha. Oh, two things. Don't forget your camera's off, and then the second thing.
Oh yeah, I lost Discord for some reason. I didn't know it turned my camera off.
Nah, you're good. The second thing is, keep in mind that would be 4 people on the first watch: Azora, Agni, Korra, and Zaman. So you probably want to shed 2 people from this watch.
Zora's used to taking first watch, so she'll just take that first watch, I guess, with Agni.
Yeah, I mean, Zaman is fine taking second watch. Just he'll wait and have Hedgewick work with him. Then I guess he'll take second watch with Korra.
Okie dokie.
Korra will just power down right here, going sentry mode.
Easy enough. You begin to drop the likes of your stuff beside you, and you see as her eyes begin to flicker once more. Also, I guess I don't know why it didn't drag your new tokens in, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Everybody. And then let me get Zamon's different one. Alright, so Agni and Azora, if you two are taking the first watch, is there anything you two are talking about or doing during the first watch? I guess beforehand, make your perception checks. Let's get that out of the way. These are with sight, so Azora, you have advantage.
$217. That's impressive.
I think that's everybody who doesn't have. Yep. So 20 and a 9. All right, you guys believe yourself to be ever vigilant. So that said, again, is there anything you two are doing, or throughout your watch, or is there anything you guys are conversing about between one another?
Azora is just going around Philo, making sure she sees any gnats or anything, she'll shoo them away and whatnot. But other than that, she's just making the rounds, keeping the lookout on the this side of the forest and everything.
You would see as you're sort of keeping watch around Philo, you'd actually hear him sort of mumbling to himself, just like, I didn't know that. That is something. Where did that little bugger go off to anyways? Talking about shinies and more. That's about it.
Interesting.
I think throughout the watch, Agni would, when he's finished with Korra's weapon, he would stand up, kind of lean it next to her. He puts a hand on her shoulder. Doesn't say anything, just walks back. obviously when he finishes it with his weapon, he puts it on his back, kind of cleans up his hands, and as he's like looking at his hands, he starts sort of talking to himself. He starts channeling what little magic he has left in him from the day, mostly through like his arms, just trying to get a grip on everything that's happened. It's been a long day since we've last woke up, especially with this mark on his hand. That's kind of all he's really doing for this watch.
Right. As this is sort of happening. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, I believe that is, yeah. That is it. So, the rest of your watch, for the most part, goes by uneventful. Alright. You guys continue on, and eventually, I assume you wake the likes of Zaman and Korra for the second.
Yep.
Alright. Korra and Zaman, you both wake up. Alright. Is there anything you guys are doing throughout your watch, or are you staying ever vigilant? Both of you, beforehand, also make perception checks.
Copy. I have a question. That
Yep.
that plate material, I think I had some.
21.
Yeah, you do.
Am I able to only make armor with it, or am I able to make tools as well?
I mean, technically, if you wanted to use tools instead, you could, but it's to basically put it into this term, it's an essential thing to make plate-related things. But if you want to like use it, make it to turn it into a dagger or something, that's also a thing you can do.
Copy. Yeah, he was thinking to see if he could make smith's tools just so he could make armor easier. But
Sure. All right. Make yours with disadvantage. Make your perception check with disadvantage, and then afterwards, give me a survival check as you begin to start crafting the bits of smith's tools using the materials that you have. I believe you guys should. Or go ahead.
I do have Hedwig with me.
Oh, okay. If you want, you can make a check for him as well. I believe it's advantage for owls. Valley of Dreams. How many materials you guys got? Oh, you guys got a lot. Yeah, you're good. All right. Let me make sure the mechanics, crafting. You'll. He won't have like an entire stat block. You'll have to like look it up on D&D Beyond and just have it on you.
Okay.
And then just roll it manually, you know.
Yep.
Crafting. Here we go. Tools are. Oh, sheesh.
He does have advantage.
It'll mark off the cost by a little bit. All right. So to make tools, it will take you a total of 5 materials, but you may do so.
Okay.
All right.
Perception check. So just roll the flat D20.
Well, there's only if you actually succeed. So before I change it. 23.
So it's was it 8 and a 12, so a 15 perception for him.
Oh, for a perception. Gotcha.
Oh,
So 15. All right. He is ever vigilant, and then the survival check, DC 13. Were you casting guidance on yourself?
Of course.
All right. Add a D4.
15.
15. All right. Is that the final roll?
Yes.
Alrighty. For that, you're barely to beat it, but you're able to get through. You take a bit of time, and it takes the majority of your watch, as you're not paying too much attention, but that's what you have Hedgewitch for. And that said, you are able to make a pair of smith's tools. There you go.
Perfect.
You guys are now down to 3 out of 10 materials. Still got a decent bit.
Got it.
All right. Is there anything you two are trying to do during the likes of your watch, or is that all?
That was the main thing I was doing.
Cora just admires the Kabubu and Agni's work. So yeah, she's admiring the work.
That being said, as you kind of look towards it, you having this weapon for a while, you don't, or you're an amnesiac, right? So you probably don't even remember the Oni fight, or no, you do.
She doesn't.
She doesn't. I see.
Yeah.
So you do see a couple of markings upon it. Granted, you can't really read it. Unless, let me see, what you got? No, you can't really read it, but you do see as it has a couple of markings in a different sort of language and sort of almost this strange sort of almost face-like thing. Regardless, it is fine work. You still sort of question what that is. Regardless, Cora and Zaman, you go by throughout your watch, and it seems to be, for the most part, uneventful. Last but not least, do you guys wake up Addy Dark and Gore?
Yes, I'll wake up Gore.
Alright, you walk.
I will wiggle the tree and ask Addy, does he need more time to sleep? Cause yeah.
This chest cold still bothers. I'll stay rested.
Okay.
See.
So
Hannibal will
Or
probably
what-
just look over and just say, if you need me to take watch, I can.
Cora would nod, as in okay, and lean up against this tent and goes back to sleep.
That said, alright. Gore and Hannibal will be taking watch. Gore, make a perception check.
Yeah, got you. Roll.
Roll, I say.
Roll. Why aren't you rolling? I don't know why it's not rolling.
You're not on Foundry right now.
What?
Yeah. You're not on Foundry.
It's crazy because I'm actually like in Foundry. I was hearing the music and everything like that. See my character and all that.
Yeah, just a refresh.
I guess I'm not here. Yeah, I'm refreshing.
You need me to wait, or, well, you need me to make it for you, or are you just gonna wait till you get in?
I mean, you go ahead and make it for me. Perception ain't that. Oh, there it goes. I think it's pop back in. There we
Oh,
go.
yeah, you're
Alright,
good. There you go.
All right. Let's do it.
Alright, oh no.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So, that said, Gore, you, I believe yourself to be perspective. Is there anything you say or do during your watch, that you're trying to accomplish?
Gore says Hannibal was up. He was like, good on you, protecting the little ones. Gore does the same.
It's all that it's all that I know how to do.
They can be trouble sometimes, but Gore's okay with that.
But I can say that, well, Philo over there is a little one. Looks over at the, like, 12-foot tall mushroom man.
Don't always let appearances fool you. So he is a little one. Same as you can tell Gore is a strong Oni. Perceptive. Very perceptive.
Say, if I may inquire, you refer to yourself as an Oni. You look like one. You have at least the blood of one, looking towards your wings. How did you end up in this form?
Gore's story? A god tried to trick Gore. Thought he could break Gore, putting him in this small body. But Gore would kill him for that. He was given power! Instead, this small body is crushed much. And look, my god is already giving me favor. I'm already starting to feel more like my old self.
Who exactly is your god?
And he would he would be like, Phoenix, of course. Heliod, though, that's the one that shall die. Gore will crush him like he crushed the other god that tried to mock us. Did he not tell you the story?
Hey, Gore, make an insight check real quick.
Okay, got you.
No. 16, 1 moment. Okay, doesn't know much. Alright, makes sense. You see his, you mentioned Phoenix and Heliod. You see his Hannibal wants to say something, but looks at you and kind of, sees your conviction and is just like, I should probably just let him do this.
That's fair. I mean, would it be noticed? I don't think it'd be that noticeable.
You would notice it with your 16 on insight check that he looked as if he was going to or wanted to say something, but then held back and didn't say anything.
Gore would be like, "Do you know my god?"
Not
even
much.
worse. Do you already said you don't follow the other one?
I don't. But, my insight probably wouldn't change your conviction anyways. So...
Heliod will be crushed by me. That will always happen. And Phoenix is always less Gore. Those are just truths. Say what you may, big one.
Well... That said, do you reside here? Like, did you live in this land before?
Gore did not live in this land. This land was far away with his people. This is all new land, changing all the time. It's bright, then it's dark. Ugh. Gore's just learned to just go to sleep. It's an odd place. But it's not Gore's home. Gore's people. I guess you would see Gore kind of look like almost for a second, he'd look almost like sad for just a moment. You know what I mean? Gore's people. They aren't here anymore. I'm the last one. So Gore's home is where he makes it. Gore of the meadow flies far and long. Once I've killed my god, I'll go to my proper home, I'm sure.
I see. If that is the case, well, you said my condolences, but you said if your people, well, are not here any longer, then what is your order then?
I don't know how you would answer that. Am I like deep loring wrong on that?
So no, you not really knowing what that kind of means. I mean, the most you can try to make a history check maybe.
I'll try that because I think Gore would be like, "What?
Yeah.
I'm my own order."
Natural 20,
But he
22.
rolls nat 20s.
Okay, all right, Gore. So when he refers to your order, looking at his person, now you didn't see what he did with the sword, in the forest, right?
I think Gore just saw the after effects. He didn't really see
The after effects. Okay.
Well, actually, he did see him kill the bear.
You
Yeah, I
did
think
see
you
him
said
kill
it
the
was
bear,
within
and then
range.
oh yeah, that's right. You saw him kill the bear, so you probably would have seen maybe not the blood, but the glowing flame. I think because you
Yeah,
want to learn that.
I didn't see the blood absorption thing. I don't think Gore could see that.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
So if not that, then with the with the nat 20, you get the sense of when he maybe refers to order, it could be maybe just a monastic tradition, or it could be even a sort of sect, a faction, even. It could be with your natural 20. you've heard maybe of a single story long, long ago when you were sort of reveling with the likes of your clan of a certain sort of order of combat, in the sense, an order of sort of a martial style, a way of doing things, almost a way of sort of life.
Got you. Gore hasn't heard that term in a long, long time. You're interesting. Observant one indeed. My people did talk of one, but it was always based in combat. Always. But something of life. You have to forgive Gore sometimes. Gore kind of like scratches his head. My people aren't supposed to live this long. My memory gets fuzzy for the old times.
I see. I'm sure you've heard of the, well, let me put it to you this way. That land that I refer to myself from, Leonios. Do you remember?
Yes, Gore does.
That is where, or at least it is fabled to believe, where the Oni, or the first yokai, were made. Though I do not know or remember the individuals personally, I know the stories at the least. It is what is taught amongst my order, and it will refer looking towards these sort of vials at his sort of waist. Not in particularly mine, but it is still a story on how we were or why our sect was created.
Go on, observant one. Tell me more.
All right. Lore it is. Oh boy. All right. It's time. You'll see as Hannibal, well, still keep an ever vigilant eye and just looking around, but relax for just a moment, and say, oh god, actually, here, let me make sure I got, so I don't fuck this up. One moment. Okay, that did not load. And here we go, and here we go, and here we go. All right. Long ago, well, it was, if my memory serves me correct, there was simply a clan of green orcs and more. They all resided on Tahiri, the realm that I come from. I do not believe this realm, Tahiri, to be of this sort of motion out to all around, to this land. These orcs typically known for their rage, violence, and thrusting themselves into battle in the name of the war gods. Typically Iroas, sometimes Amogus, and more. However, in this sort of clan, there were a small group of individuals of other orcs who, though bloodlustful and war hungry, they would do or use any means necessary to complete the job, using bits of cunning and deception in their battle tactics, even learning the likes of magic and striking from shadow. These orcs, as the stories were referred to, are the main sort of sign of disgrace that they would feel from their other sort of green skins. That they would return scarless from battle, never sort of feeling much sort of pain or being able to revel in the blood, as they would sort of claim. It was a disgrace to their tradition. However, these individuals, they did not seem to care, and they would continue to do it as the results were satisfactory. That said, they would stumble across an old forbidden magic that you and I use. Have you ever heard of the likes of Hemocraft?
Would I have to roll for that? Would Gore even be like?
He doesn't fucking know. He just does it.
Like, I don't even know shit. Yeah.
He
Gore
just
would
does it.
Do some shit. Yeah, I was like, Gore would just.
Yeah, shit,
I guess. So yeah. So I guess Gore would be like, "Is that what you call this new gift? The gift I got from the god?"
If you refer to your, well, to put it lightly, blood magic, then yes. It was made by another sort of group of individuals of other sex, typically referred to as sort of covens and whatnot. These, at least in the arcane nature, which you would refer to as sort of witches and more. Some coming from hag mothers and other things, but regardless, they created the likes of Hemocraft. And eventually these green orcs would stumble across it, invoking these bits of incantations and invoking Mogus's name, the god of slaughter, the blood god. But regardless, not every individual besides the orcs were so ecstatic to see this newfound knowledge that was once forbidden and forgotten. The likes of what you claim to, if I can assume, hate and despise, and Heliod, the god of the sun, would be almost appalled, as in view each of these orcs as a disgrace, as he is the god of oaths, as of now. Doing so would be oh, go ahead.
Gore's face would kind of would twist up a little bit when you mentioned Heliod, and you saying that he's even this is a par for the course for him. Gore would be like, "Oh, keep going. This motherfucker here. This motherfucker Heliod here."
Hold up. I'm gonna fix the overlay also. 1 second. I think I fixed it. Yep, dope. Heliod, being the god of oaths at the time, would be disgusted and essentially harness the power of the sun to smite all of the green orcs, or at least this specific sect of them, turning their skin pink and more, and also damning them to essentially look like the form that he believed them to be, devilish creatures and fiends, giving them, well, horns and more. However, there was another individual, so it makes sense why you like them so much, and Phonax, the god of deceit and deception. He'd intervene with his brother Heliod, delighting in interfere in his own, or his rival's plans. Eventually, the damage was seen to be already done, but Phonax was able to bless the Oni, or the Red Orcs who would become the Oni, giving them at least a little bit of a new life. Regardless, these individuals were eventually exiled from the likes of Leonios, never to return, often to a far, far away continent that even I do not know of. Possibly an island, possibly a land shrouded by only night. I do not know. In my time, I did see or come into contact with one red orc, and I believe that to be an omen of death. And so the stories say. However, I live to tell the tale. They were not looking for me at the least, so I was lucky in that regard. But those same group of individuals, those red orcs that fled long ago, they decided to look further into those into those forbidden magics and harness their own sort of sect, making individuals priding themselves on the hunt, going through these sort of trials and more, known as the Hunter's Bane, and eventually creating their order of the yokai. I asked you this question of what order you come from, and in hopes of being able to wonder if you learned more of it, of that secret order. I only know the basics of them. It is not my specialty, though.
And Gore would be like, this is interesting. Gore knows he's always had to crush. And if what you speak is truth, Heliod must always be, what I want to say? Heliod must be crushed for always meddling in the affairs of what could be my people. And if Phoenix has always blessed us, I would, Gore would, look almost at like the way his hand looked getting cut by the blood earlier, and he'd be like, Gore would love to learn anything more. Those are all gifts from Phoenix. This is for a reason. Even you, observant one, letting me know of this, it makes those stories seem so much more clear.
I can teach you what I know, but I will not pretend that I am a master at it.
And Gore would kind of Gore would that would be honorable of you, wouldn't it, observant one? I know Phoenix is continuously giving me blessings. There was a reason we were to meet here. And Gore would sort of like kind of cut his hand right quick and put his hand out, thinking that would be whatever it would take to get that shit going.
He'll look at you and just sort of hold his hand out and just say, not now. Afterwards, when the others wake, before we leave, continue our journey.
And Gore would turn his hand over to like again like when he cut his hand before and he was trying to shake his hand, he'd go try to do the same thing again.
Easy enough. All right.
And he'd be like, the gods surely have blessed me. Phoenix continues to bless me. And Gore's kind of like mumbling to himself, almost like Galen. So.
Easy enough. Hold on 1 second. Why is this acting stupid? That said, that is what happens for the beginning of your watch. One moment, and I will get this set up. Alright, I think this is working now, finally. Please, for the love of God. There we go. Alright, while that is happening, meanwhile, we look towards another individual during the midst of this watch. An individual long asleep. High up, but still resting amongst the treetops. Addy Dark. Oh, goodness. Here we go. All right. Addy Dark, as you begin, actually, let me move this over to you if I can. There we go. Addy Dark, as you begin to slowly but surely find your way into that of rest, drifting into a deep sleep, you look around and as you begin to slowly dream, you look off and you find yourself almost just sort of lost in this sort of strange darkness. You look around and you find yourself, well, almost in a strand of almost pretty eternal sort of nothingness. No sort of structures, no sort of shapes. Just simply you, your weapon, and pretty much this these shadows in front. You see this map. If I can get it to work. There we go. Simple as that. That being said, as you find yourself in this sort of area, you look around and don't see anything, don't smell anything, don't feel anything. What do you do?
Oh man, I'm stumbling around in the dark?
Pretty much. Not really moving unless you wish to. But you just sort of find yourself in this area, just surrounded in complete darkness at the moment.
I would say, definitely a bit, just startled by the darkness. Never liked the darkness. Especially, I can't see anything even at night. It's like, it's weird that even with my night vision, I can't see in front of me. So it's pretty, I would say, pretty surprising place to be right now.
That being said, as you just kind of find yourself startled for a bit, though you don't hear anything, though you don't smell anything, you begin to hear something, a bits of sort of skittering all around, bits of scuttling from almost to the left, to the right, above, below, almost all around. Like several figures. As you hear this, what do?
Oh, I start swinging into the night.
All right.
As you swinging to left and right.
As you begin swinging, make an attack roll, but just target yourself. I'm gonna obviously take away the damage, but just make an attack roll that way.
Okay.
$19, 9 points of damage. That said, as you begin to just go swinging wildly, just towards anything, as you begin to hear the scuttling, you hear it off to the side, and you slam down the great club shaped as a baseball bat into the ground as it begins to almost crack. However, the scuttling continues over and around. You hit or swing again a second time, and you hear a bit of sort of a almost screeching sound before immediately sort of jumping out towards your face. These almost not even able to really see the shape of the figure, but these sort of two fangs that begin to almost try to embed themselves into your neck. However, with your 19, you're just barely able to see it off to the side and swing towards it and just sends it flying afar. However, that said, you hear as more and more of the skittering begins to slowly almost surround all of you. That said, what do? Do you stand your ground, or do you try to flee? Choice is yours.
I would say Addy stands his ground and thinks to himself, the night creatures. It's always always will be a time for the night creatures to die. So he's readying himself. This is like, you think with the fangs, he's almost like, he's almost reveled in it now because I think he feels more aware of the situation.
Easy
to
enough.
finally get this kind of redemption against these night creatures for sure.
Easy enough. As you begin to grab that of the weapon and swing forth to your left, to your right, to basically anything that seems to almost give off a sound, you see and more of the fangs begin to sort of jump out towards you. However, you see as you're swinging once and immediately sort of wrapping around your arms, it begins to almost pull outwards. Not entirely sure what in nature it was that sort of restrained it. Immediately you try to swing with your right arm towards anything to sort of let yourself free before eventually that arm is also restrained. More and more of the skittering begins to form, and several shadowy creatures as well in the night begin to restrain you as you eventually find yourself almost unable to physically move. As you look around, you find yourself here. Oh boy. At this moment, you look around and you see at this point you're able to get a hold of your senses, seeing whatever you may be in, just surrounded by this bits of sort of spider webs and more. You look about and all the creatures, all the scuttling has seemed to have vanished for just a moment. You try to sort of break yourself free, however, you're struggling to even move, even the likes of your fingers. That said, how do you respond?
Show thyself. Who's there? And I would just continue to. Oh, go ahead.
This begins to happen. You look around and it seems to be nothing. It seems to be silent for a moment before you feel a slight vibration amongst the area. And you look over and you begin to see a strange sort of figure. One that would almost never sort of leave your memory. You look about at them and you see as this form of a creature, multiple bits of fangs and more, with also several bits of legs, begins to almost march over towards you. However, the bottom portion of them, similar to the likes of a spider, but the upper half sort of humanoid. You look over at them and their form sort of courses with an astral light. You knowing what that would mean and signify. Individuals of the Starry Ones, the corruption. And as that happens, you see as this individual, oh goodness, begins to just look towards you before immediately walking ever closer. You look over and they seem to have a sort of almost humanoid looking face, but their hair made completely out of webs itself. And it seems to be as more and more of these creatures begin to form amongst the entire area, almost surrounding you. You feel restricted, you feel restrained. What do you do as they all begin to slowly close?
Are you... Would I know, like, what these are? Are any of these familiar to me?
As far as you're aware, they're creatures of the night.
Oh, awesome. Great to know.
That said, what do you do?
As I'm still, yes, like, restrained? Or am I mobile right now?
You are restrained at the moment, but you can try to do anything you wish, or that you can, or try to do something.
Gotcha. I would try to break a hand free, and I try to point towards the, I guess, the webbly haired one, and say something like, "Night creatures finally came for me. You've taken my family, but tonight I die with honor."
You see, as you begin to yell out that you die with honor, you see as they begin to just motion forth for all the other individuals to surround you and begin to close in and tear into you. However, Addy Dark, you begin to sort of feel a bit of sort of warmth amongst your sort of veins, almost coursing for a brief moment in time, as if a sort of flame waiting to be sort of unleashed. You remember the stories of you and the other individuals of your tribe unleashing a sort of elemental power. However, that sort of flame begins to sort of build up inside you. And as you begin to stand your ground, do you unleash it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
As it happens, you look over and see as Addy Dark's sort of form, the bits of the tribal tattoos begin to slowly almost ignite with this almost hellish flame for a brief moment. And as it does, it begins to incinerate all the webs around. You look as the creatures begin to look towards you before you find yourself with these sort of flaming fist ready to extinguish and destroy all of the creatures of the night. As this happens, you get ready to lunge towards them and bring the fight to them before eventually the vision, the dream begins to fade. You awake in your sort of tree, only for a simple moment. And as you sort of lay there, you glance towards the likes of your sort of tribal markings and the likes of your sort of fist, as they seem to sort of glow with this strange flame. You seeing them before, and your people, and even bits in combat in the cave before, but seems to be as if it's manifested now. And the strange power. Do you return to rest, or is there anything else you do?
No, I think that's it for me.
All right. Easy enough. You look towards it, but even more exhausted, continue your rest and begin to ponder about it another day. Now is not the time. All right. That said, as that happens, oh goodness. Agni. Oh boy. You thought I forgot about you. Alright.
It's just a peaceful night of sleep.
Something like that. Agni, as you begin to fall or begin to sleep, falling into a state of dream and rest, you by this fire or by the campsite that eventually the fire is put out, but as you sort of rest there, you stare off into the grass, the greenery, and the nature itself. And eventually sleep begins to take you. And you look or pretty much watch as the blades of grass begin to sort of elongate further and further until it surrounds you like a forest. A forest made of bamboo and other wildlife. As this happens, you see this map. Oh boy. Now I will preface and say, this map isn't 100% accurate to what it looks like, but is the best thing I could kind of find. But essentially it is in the midst of a bamboo forest. And let me see if I got that. Alright, dope. And there we go. Alright, it should be loading for you now.
Oh yeah.
There we go. But keep in mind, again, it's a bamboo forest, not necessarily like this one. That said, as you sort of find yourself sort of walking about, looking around, what do you say and what do you do?
Do I consider myself like asleep and this is a dream, or do I feel like awake and this is where I'm actually at?
It's more of that. You feel awake and this is where you're actually at.
I mean, the first thing he does, he checks like for his weapon and looks around to see if he sees any of the others. If he's actually awake, then they shouldn't be too far.
That said, you find the likes of your tools and whatnot and more, but you do not seem to have your scythe on you at the moment.
This is gonna sound really dumb, but Agni withdraws his head into his shell to see if it's in there. Clearly not. He sticks his head out. Takes another look around, sort of looks at the dirt, thinking to himself, "This is not where I fell asleep at." Looks behind him, sees the water, remembers what happened earlier today, and kind of decides to go the furthest away from it, start looking around. So he's going to start heading south.
All right. As you do, continuing south, you may move your token. And as you move in this direction, you begin to feel warm, and you see kind of a spark off in the distance, a small sort of almost orange light around over here.
Agni will squint at it, see if he can make it out any better, and start seeing if he moves closer, will it get a little bit clearer, whatever is over there.
All right. Perception check, or you can just move closer. Same thing. All right. So, as you begin to approach, you look over and you see the likes of a sort of turtle individual. They seem to be green skin as you, but they also seem to have dreads, as well as two massive horns sort of curling amongst them, and even the likes of a muzzle as well. Runes coming off their back and more. As you see, oh boy. I don't know why the map did that, but you see the likes of this individual. Right over here.
Okay.
Oh, goodness. You look over, and as they're sort of walking through this sort of forest, you see as this sort of flame begins to just sort of almost build up amongst the runes upon their back and even their hands as they begin to unleash it forward, burning and destroying everything in their path. The smallest sort of bamboo forest seems to be slowly burning away what was once beautiful, destroyed one by one, branch after branch as it falls. You hear almost cries of pain and fear, not from this individual, but from several dozen individuals. You smell the burning cinders, but you also smell something else. You smell burning corpses, even. You look over, and as you just sort of hear this and smell all of this, the individual causing this, similar to you, they seem to be almost too blind to even witness the sort of rage within, the destruction that they're causing. Looking out, people just sort of screaming out at this individual and then running in fear, screaming, "You demon! You monster! Why? We did nothing wrong to you! We have nothing! Nothing, and it's because of you!" However, The turtle stops for a brief second, a brief moment, and then continues burning and destroying, all before you begin to hear more and more of the screams emanate before they're cut off by the roar of a bear from afar, and then the striking of lightning and thunder before the vision begins to cease. As you look back, you find yourself almost exactly where you started in this area. That being said, the same forest, however, nothing is burning. The flames have stopped, and it's returned to its peacefulness. What do you do?
I finished taking the notes. 1 second. Okay. So I guess if I'm in the exact same spot, he's going to look to see if that orange light is over there again. First off.
Make a perception check for me. 2. Can't be sure.
This would be really confusing to him. Because in his mind, he's thinking whatever he just saw is some form of dream, perhaps. And if he recreates it, the same thing is going to happen. I mean, you don't do the same thing twice. If it just brought me back to the same spot. So he would then carefully start to walk up north through these trees here to see if anything changes or if he can find his way out of here.
All right. As you begin to move yourself north, you continue forth, walking through, and you look around, just trying to see if there's anything different before you stop. And for a brief moment, you look down and you see yourself stepping directly into a puddle with one of your feet, and you get caught for a moment, unable to move.
Here we go again.
As it happens, at this point, Agni, as you stop there and look down, you actually see several dozen individuals, bearkin, and other pandas looking at you, freezing to see what your next move is. Agni, as you look towards them, you look towards the puddle. This sort of strange, almost familiar feeling building up inside you. What do you do?
Do these pandas look similar to the vision he just saw?
They do. And then some more individuals that you haven't seen, but
And they're just like in the water.
they're in the water, they're in the forest, they are living life. But at the same time, the puddle below. What do you do?
Instinctively, he's going to try to yank his foot out of this puddle. Despite what he learned before, he's pulling it out very aggressively.
Very aggressively, it does not seem to budge.
And it's just one of my feet, correct?
It's just one, yeah.
Agni starts to get very frustrated that this is happening to him again.
Now keep in mind, you believe this to be, you believe you are actually here and more and whatnot. Like this is just happening and stuff like that.
There's so many things I could do. Oh man. Agni is this is not a good day. He is getting very frustrated. He saw the vision. He knows this isn't going to work. But everything in him is swelling up to almost like try to boil this water away. If it's just a puddle.
You
Is
said
there like water around me, or is it like I just stepped in a random puddle?
you stepped in a random puddle, but there is water around you in general.
Yeah, Agni didn't fully learn his lesson. He's going to try to almost even attack himself to get him out of this water. He's gonna start. He doesn't have his weapon on him, so he's almost gonna start clawing at himself to get himself out of this water.
As you begin to do so, clawing yourself out, trying to sort of yank yourself out with every fiber of your being, even to the point of trying to, as you said, if I'm wrong, correct me, boil the likes of the water if it means that or you could get free.
The first step is he's doing like physical harm to himself in terms of like tearing at his leg to pull it out of this.
All right. That said, make a Constitution saving throw. What's that? A 10. It seems to be as you pull and try to claw yourself out. The pain is almost unbearable as you're causing physical harm to yourself. But you see very little progress, but almost to the point of trying to take your own leg off at this point. Do you continue, or after feeling the bits of the pain and almost wrath, what do you do?
At that point, if that he's making no progress in there, now he's considering boiling the water away. And that's what he starts to do. He's going to, in his hand, summon a produce flame and sort of aim it at the ground beneath him.
As you begin to do so, you summon the produce flame and try to boil the water from below. And as you see, as it begins to, after a bit of time, just after you channel all of that wrath into it, you see as it eventually almost evaporates. And you look to see as the water fades, turning into vapors, the grass begins to slowly burn. And burn and burn, and the fires begin to slowly expand outwards. It begins to catch to the likes of the branches, the likes of the bamboo, and the dirt around. Before you blink for a moment, and you see a burning forest once more. A single roar and a lightning strike before eventually the vision fades. That said, you begin to awaken alongside the rest of your other companions, looking about, and you find yourself in the camp once more. No bamboo, no burning forest. The fire's put out, and it's still day. That said, you all gain the benefits of a long rest. All right. If anybody needs help with getting that set up, then let me know.
There's just a button in the player sheet, correct?
Yep. So double click on your token, Look in the top left, and you'll see short rest and long rest. There you go. Yeah, you got it. All right. As you all eventually awake, what would you all like to do? Choice is yours.
Azora's gonna make sure, File's doing all right. So she's gonna just check in on him, like, I'm guessing he's gonna be awake before her, or I don't know, but
Yeah, he's awake before you.
yeah, she says she'll wake up and she'll be like, how ya doing, Philo? Feeling much better this morning, I hope?
A bit better, but I will be even, well, I will feel even greater than that once I reconnect with my, well, with the others.
She'll just reassure him. We'll try to get you there soon enough, Philo.
They are doing well. So that is all that matters. Alright.
Zaman would approach Hannibal and say, Hannibal. Hannibal.
Yes.
You mentioned a weapon of Denda. What is this? What is this weapon, and who is Denda?
Okie 1 moment. Boop. And boop. Alright. Figured. I know them to be a sort of god of the sorts, but a forgotten one at that. I know not of, well, what domain they reside over. I only know that they wield and place weapons on Leonios and all around. I was supposed to track them down and look for the likes of those 2 individuals I mentioned before. The Hobgoblin and Vruk Trials, and the Tabaxi Smooth Vial. But I was not able to make much progress, as in the midst of the prison break, I was taken by that astral figure.
Zaman would say, you say Denda is a god who drops weapons on wherever you are from. I've been looking for a divine weapon. Maybe this is what I'm looking for.
I would doubt they would be here, but I invite you to still look if you wish.
Of course, if you see or hear anything in regards to this Denda, can you please keep me informed?
Perhaps the issue is you want to use it to kill a god, right?
That is correct.
So many questions. But I'm no fool. I know my mission, I know that they were important. To simply just allow them to fall into other individuals' hands, especially one with a volatile goal as that. Why should I?
Have you heard of Clothis?
I have.
She is...
Ah, shit. Oh, fuck, I just thought of something. Alright, 1 second. Son of a bitch. Alright. Strength saving throw. No, he's gonna use intelligence. Oh, thank God. Alright. You see as Hannibal's form begins to slowly almost course with an astral light, and several figures begin to emerge before him. All of differing shapes and sizes. Most of them larger individuals. The likes of a massive man, probably standing at 8 feet tall or higher. On the other, being another sort of Leonin-like figure. Massive in size, but powerful in stance. You see as Hannibal begins to sort of hold his head before the astral figures begin to form back into him once more. He just sort of stumbles for a bit, trying to catch his balance and saying,
the man would grab him and say, are you okay?
Yes. Did you all see that?
Yes, it was
The
It was
boat.
very strange. I think we saw something similar when we ran that gong.
But did you see the boat and the other individuals on it?
Did we see a boat?
I would say, did we see it?
Fuck no.
Then
Yeah.
yeah. Zoro was saying, no, we didn't see anything.
Oh shit. Oh god, I gotta be careful with this one. I saw Clothis. She spoke to me. Someone else. But I mean, I did not recognize them, but I felt as if I knew them. She talked to us as if she was dying. I don't know. I guess I am seeing things with my old age.
Sounds like you're seeing my dream, my goal.
Ugh, regardless. Well, it'll be harder to see, but the sun itself, if I am ever in a cave or underground, do let me know if it changes color to a red of some sorts.
I read the sun, you say?
Yeah. More like filled with blood. Almost Clothis' blood.
Has Zaman ever seen a blood red sun before?
No.
Zaman would say, that's... In all my time, I don't think I've ever seen the sun turn this color.
Was Gore be close enough to hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Gore would be like, you and your memories. When we fought that yokai, there was a blood sun.
That when we fought what? I don't know. Wait, do I remember that? Yeah. Oh. No. That was a moon.
A blood moon? Oh, it was a blood sun, not a blood moon? Heard? My
Yeah.
bad. Misinterpret. My fault.
Look at my notes,
Disregard
if I
Gore's
remember
name.
that.
Oh man. That said, well, that being said, what do we plan to do for the day? Do we march forth towards the Or towards the cave.
Yeah, I think we're trying to get Philo to where he needs to go, correct?
Yes, yes. And as this is sort of happening, Philo is just going to sort of tap your shoulder, Azora.
She turns and looks at is Philo, is everything okay?
And you see as his hand is sort of shaking and then just sort of points upwards.
She looks up.
As you begin to look up, you and those who look up towards the sky begin to see as it slowly begins to shift and change in color. And as it kind of does, you know that typically, okay, sure, maybe the sky's been acting weird, you know, every now and again it essentially shatters and then turns from day to night, but now it's starting to slowly shift and change colors despite it being day, and you see as there are more colors in it despite just, or besides just blue. Oh goodness. You see these colors. One moment, please. And boom and boom. Alright. As it begins to slowly take over the likes of the sky above, this sort of green, purplish, and even blue lights sort of just coursing amongst the sky. A sort of astral coloring. That being said, what do you guys do as you begin to see and glance up towards it?
Does this look like the same stuff that came out of the gong?
Up towards the sky, kind of similar colors, but not exactly. You know this color well, an astral light. As you look up, and it seems to be almost like an aurora borealis begins to form in pure day before you.
Zoro said, "We may not know what type of omen this is, but it is probably best we hurry up and get Philo and Mao to safety. Every time I see these lights, it usually brings around those things."
As this happens, oh, go ahead, Gore.
Gore would yell up at the sky. Ah, this place plays so many tricks. Just come down and fight us already. Gore, I'll crush you now.
And you begin to hear, as you yell out towards this, you all begin to hear a voice enter the likes of your head. A familiar one at that you heard long, long ago, or what seems to be long ago, but it was only several days and several suns. You hear the likes of, oh, we will. That being said, time's ticking, children. I hope you've prepared your defenses.
Didn't you die?
Like I said, your ways will be corrupted, and you will join us. Before eventually the voice begins to fade, as you all hear that in unison in your minds. One of these words ringing familiar to one of you. What do you say and what do you do?
Zoro said, perhaps when we get Philo and Mao to their respective homes, we could create a defense there in preparation for whatever this thing is that is coming. Until it passes over, it probably is best we remain in a defensive position. And the more allies with us, the better.
Zaman doesn't say anything, but you can, for Warforged, you can see he's like noticeably annoyed and irritated.
Gore just yells up, "Coward!" It's always these gods that play the games. Come so Gore can crush you!
Easy, Gore. Whatever is coming will be here in less than 2 days. We have limited time.
Gore kind of like bashes his sword on the floor. 2 days and we can crush this and be over with.
No, less than 2 days. It's probably about a day and a half from today.
Even better!
Whatever this day is.
Well, that only means we shall move with a little bit of haste to get Philo back to his camp. We go there, we establish a little defense, and we wait for whatever comes. We stand upon the front line and face it. Once it passes over, we can continue along our journey. But it's best to not get caught out in the wilderness when whatever it is comes. This time, we shall be prepared for it. Whatever it is.
Mao will just... the Red Panda will look over and just say, yeah, we should probably hurry and get going before Hannibal just begins to sort of hold a hand up. He'll look towards Agni and just say, how do you know we only have so much time?
I've been told.
He'll eye you, but hold his tongue and say, I do not believe that... this is a difficult decision. Philo's home, unless the landscape has changed. Philo's home is nowhere near here that we could probably make it within a single sun and night cycle. It would take longer. And even if we did make it there, would we have enough time for defenses? Philo, is your home ready for a battle? And see as Philo begins to look and just begin to try to think and wonder. Not necessarily. We have warriors there, but not necessarily defenses.
How much time would it take?
Well, the question is, defenses and whatnot. I propose an idea, but you're free to disagree and continue on with the other, and continue forward. We'd be bringing a fight to individuals who are not prepared for one if we go to Philo's home immediately. If we go there, innocents could die. We would not have time to prepare, and we'd lose even more casualties then. It could be foolish, but I believe that we take this time, this area that we know around, and maybe strengthen it to our liking, using that time that we have. Make it as defensible as possible. What do you all think?
We should go back to where the Green Orcs were before. We were protected there on all sides.
If what you say is what I'm thinking, then you're saying whatever it is that's coming, it's not that it's coming across the land, but instead it's coming after us directly.
I can't say for sure what is coming, but something is definitely going to arrive. We all heard the voice.
Well, if this is something that is attacking the whole region, Philo, I hope your people, well, they probably don't even have any warning for something like this.
That is correct.
As Zaman will say, either we attempt to use all of our time to reach Philo's people. We may or may not make it, and we may just be leading danger right to them, or we attempt to build a stronghold here, defend ourselves, and hope that whatever is coming is only coming for us. We have no way of telling, but it sounds like the bigger risk is to attempt to travel, because if we don't make it and we're attacked, we won't be ready. And if we do make it, we won't have time to defend them anyway.
This is what I think, but Mal will, unless you were saying something.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, Azor will nod to Zaman and she said, perhaps you are correct, and that we shouldn't bring any potential danger to others. Perhaps you and Hannibal is correct. We shall make ourselves formidable where we are.
Zaman will look at Philo and say, do you have any form of communication with your people outside of like the regular means? Are you able to send a messenger or something along those lines?
I can converse with them upon rest, but one moment. Alright, let's see what he has. What about this? Nah. No. 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 I don't even know what that is. Druids are weird.
Man, old man Philo struggling.
Yeah. He will say no form of communication. Only forms of potential summonings. Befriending them. Or befriending animalistic friends.
Are you able to befriend maybe a creature around here, and maybe they can, if they move faster, can potentially try to send a message to your people?
I can try. It's worth a shot. But if not, then we still have the fail-safe of me conversing with them at night.
I think this is likely the best plan that we have. Mal, what type of tools and equipment do you have?
Well, if we're actually considering this, you'll see as he will, because he was ready to pretty much get to stepping and get going, but he'll set the giant massive backpack down, sort of crashes about. I can help make a couple of sort of defensible, well, I guess you would refer to them as turrets, to help out. I can also help with a bit of engineering and whatnot to make even more defenses, such as, well, walls and other things, but I need more materials for that one. But I can certainly try to do what I got. Or use what I got.
What type of materials do you need?
Well, I mean, you can make a wall really out of almost anything, so if we're in a rush, wood can work. You can even make, well, I mean, I'm no tactician or anything. This isn't really my thing.
As soon as he says tactician, Lamon's eyes raise and he looks at Agni and Azora, and he says, Agni, I believe you have the most battle experience. Maybe this is your realm of expertise.
Well, if we're laying all our cards on the table, this isn't the first time I've heard those words. This is just a hunch, which I don't like to normally do. But whatever is coming might be targeting myself. If I had to take a guess, Philo's home is probably safe. But I don't believe traveling for a chance to save his home is worth it. The idea of reinforcing the cave or the area where you're at seems to be the best option for what we know right now. We know this area, we know the cave. Hopefully they don't.
And do you have any inkling of potential weaknesses that these, whatever is coming, would have, or a way that we could potentially defend ourselves against them?
No, but to use them on, specifically, you should watch your back.
His eyes raise and he looks ponder. What? Why me specifically?
You'll see Agni sort of shrug, you say, they might have a liking for you.
Is it because of what I am?
I don't know. That's about all I have, as far as guarantees.
Well. Okay. So I think we should formulate a plan. Looks like Mal has a lot of tools and a lot of crafts. I think Gore and Addy Dark are probably the best scouts, are best at scouting and gathering, if you don't have a problem with that. If Mal can provide the list, you can more than likely get the materials needed. I can likely help Mal with any designs or any things he need help on that side. As far as the battle plan, I will leave that up to
Zamad, you're taking too many steps too fast. Where are we going to defend? Do you guys prefer the outdoors or do we prefer the cave? Keep in mind, the cave did have that entrance with the water. And it might have multiple entrances we're unaware of.
But those green orcs were using it for a reason. A stronghold, the least we can make stronger. Out here, in the open.
Hannibal actually can add on to something because he knows a little bit, being a part of the previous. Have you used or found any of those coins?
Gorge, show him all the coins he found, yeah.
Not gold either. The dark ones.
Azora will say, yeah, I've been finding these all over the place. But
Gorge found plenty too, and then he would throw it all into the pot.
But what do you mean by use them?
Back when it was my time, and will refer to the mark upon his part of his paw. We're able to use these to build structures and more. To help build, well, I guess in this case, to build defenses. Whether we decide to use the cave, or though I have no idea how far it is, or how defensible it is, but I must trust your judgment. Regardless of what we use, the defenses that they provide will become almost essential.
Azor will say, well, the thing is, I'm not even sure if we're able to get back into the cave. Remember, he dropped us into that water. Even if we go back into it, I'm sure you, Agni, are not willing to do that. Secondly, even if we were able to convince you to go back into that water and think of the well, then we have to find a way to get up the well, which is over 60 feet. I'm not sure we're able to get Philo, Agni, Hannibal, Zaman, Korra up that 60 feet of well.
Wait. Y'all. Didn't y'all walk?
Me, Agni, and Korra took a different route to meet up with you guys. There's another path.
Oh, she says, yeah, I seem to forgot that. So you was able to avoid the water completely?
Yes, we outside the cave. We climbed to the top, and when we arrived, we were above the waterfall, and we saw you below.
Which, that confuses the hell out of almost all of you who went through the well, because you guys remember jumping down, and they are saying they went upwards. So how did that work out? You know?
It was that special water, boy. That special water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question. So Zora said, okay, then, well, it is probably best that if these coins work the way you say, then I think it'd be best to establish a defense out here where we could see our enemies. Those caves, we haven't spent enough time to explore them to see the entrances and exits, all of them at least. Not to mention, most of us cannot see in the dark.
And then he would look towards Gore would look towards Mao and be like, "Do you have something in that bag we could light up the cave with?"
I have a couple of things. I can make a couple of little gadgets that can produce a little bit of sight. But it's not much if I remember, and you'll see as he just begins to take out a couple of his goggles and begins to start sort of taking out bits of scrap metal and other materials and tools, and begins to just start messing around and tinkering.
I like the tailed one.
And she said we could either spend time and materials to provide sight for I don't even know how many of us, or we could just choose somewhere outside like this and make this place as formidable as possible, sort of like a fort.
And as soon as you say that, he's just like, all right, here, try this, and he just tosses it to Gore within like several seconds.
And Gore would like I guess Gore would look at it like, I don't know if Gore would be able to figure out how to turn that on. You asking a lot of Gore.
He's just waiting patiently for you to turn it on.
Zaman would say, "Gore, just push the button."
And here, gritty one, and he tosses it to him.
So what are these? Does Zaman know what these are?
You would be smart enough to just push the button. Alright, you push the button and you see as it begins to shine out a brief light, but it doesn't go out that far. You sort of hold it off to the ground to see exactly how far. It's only about really 10 feet. It's enough to like see maybe in front of you, but that's about it. Not too much. I can make only really, 3 of those. It's not much.
Yeah. Zaman would say, it's probably best. One, we'll have more time to build the fort out here, and two, if we're fortunate enough, if you're saying it's at least a sun away, hopefully the attack happens during the day. Our odds might be better out here.
You all say this, but the sky is falling down on us twice already. And you want to be out here?
Gore just basically referencing us being in open air has not been where it's at. Even if we built something, the sky fell down.
Here's the thing. If we go back to the cave, it might be slightly above in average in terms of defenses. But if we needed to escape that cave, it would be much harder than being out here.
We can always trust the water.
Zaman will look at Gore and then look at Agni and just shake his head.
Yes, I agree with Agni. You see, the thing about making the cave our defense is, it's only good so long as we can keep them outside. We don't know how many are coming or from what angles. If they find another way inside the cave that we do not know of, then we are stuck between an outside force and an inside force. At least here, we can see in multiple directions and get a good idea as to where they're coming from. Not to mention, Hedwig over there, the owl, can fly around and scout and help us determine which way to present our offense. But in a cave, it'd be much more difficult to give us any type of real scouting. We just are like sitting ducks, and that is not the way.
Oh, whoops, camera froze.
I don't think it's a good enough sell for Gore. But Gore's like,
So you want us to defend all this?
and he looks around at all these trees.
We've already
Yes.
seen a bear and the sky fall twice.
Yes, we create a fort right here, similar to what you're thinking with the cave, except for on this one, if for whatever reason things went south, it is much easier to reposition ourselves. Whereas in a cave, we are stuck with one option: fight and die. Here we have
Or
multiple
trust
ways.
the water, quick one.
You already know. First of all, that is not even a guarantee. Whatever these creatures are could come from the well. They could come from outside the cave. They could come from the well. They could come from another entrance within the cave we do not even know of.
And here,
Not to mention,
they could
Agni
come
is
from
not going
every
down the
side.
well.
That is not an option for one of our comrades, so we cannot look at it as an option. Go.
Oh, real quick. Cora, are you doing anything over here? Off to the side, or nah?
She's just swinging her sword at the trees, practicing.
Gotcha. Hannibal, actually, yeah. Hannibal will look over towards there and see. I also just thought of it. You all have seen battle, I can at least tell that, but have you honed your skills in the meantime? These sort of building things, these creatures that form, they build these things for you, leaving us time for more to do other things while we wait.
Azura say, some way, somehow, I have been tapping into some ability. I'm not sure, but I've been practicing with that, yes, and trying to find some way to control it long enough for it to be useful.
Well, that said, we're going to need everyone. I'm no builder. Not much of a commanding chieftain or anything like that. I'm just a lone samurai. So, and I'll look towards Agni and Zaman, who have been the most sort of authoritative in this sort of regard. I will leave the defensive decision making to you two. However, I can say, when it comes to honing the blade and also making sure the individuals looking at all of you participating in the fight and defending this area or whatever area we decide, I can at least assist with that.
It's going to be an all hands on deck approach. Every one of us will have to do our part.
We will.
Azor will say, so let's use the coins to have them build then. We could create a sort of defensive position where Philo and other magic users could be in the center, while us more offensive folks can be on the outside. And then we could create a pathway in order to funnel them in.
Well, before we do this, let us put it up to a vote and continue so we can decide where defenses go. Who would like to go towards the cave that you reclaim, and who would like to go and stay here and defend this area? Alright, let's go down the list, everybody. We're gonna start. I'm just gonna use face cams on Discord. Sean, which one do you vote for? Go back to the cave or stay here to defend?
Quick question about how far away is the cave?
The cave, it's about 3 hours away. It's not too, or like, it's like roughly probably closer to 2 hours, really. It's not too far, but it's still a distance, you know, it's a walk.
Vote is to stay here.
Alright. Adidark's not here. Azora, what about you?
I'm here.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I'm gonna stay with the force right now.
You got it. I didn't see your camera, so I was like, oh, okay. I thought it was just the wall.
Zora vote to stay here as well.
All right. Gore, what have you?
Gore would still push for the cave.
All right. Cora, what have you?
Here.
All right. And Zaman.
Zaman's voting for here.
All right. Majority rules. The party will vote to stay here, and that is what it will be. Now, I only go out of game because to make sure you guys have enough time to do this. Would you like to look at the potential defensive options and other structures that you guys can build?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Is there like another option?
Yeah.
Like, are you asking to put one out of the game?
Well, you know, you say that, but it's been, 10 sessions of Rhyme with the Frost Maiden, 7 sessions of Valley of Dreams, 8 sessions of Secrets in the Sands. Oh, shoot, there's building mechanics. Oh, man.
It ain't safe out here.
No, I'm fucking with y'all. All right. So, you guys have at the moment, not that, or you have a decent amount of soul coins, but you can only get so far. All right. Now, soul coins are going to be the essential resource of what you guys need to build any sorts of structures. And I'll walk you through all of this. But also you will need, this is just in general, I'm just telling you this all now. You will also need materials to upkeep these sort of structures if you want to keep them, running and functional without, breaking down and deteriorating after a bit of time. So they will have a material cost or upkeep cost, but they will also have an initial material cost to make them in the first place. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. Let's look at, oh boy, these are all the things that you guys can make at level 1 through 4. Yep. And housing tiers. These tiers are broken up by level, right? Okay. So at the moment, you can make things up to level 2. Because that is the level you are at. Hold on, make sure of something. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to copy and paste all these. I guess I'm gonna post them in the Soulbound chat as well. Now, granted, this is a work in progress sort of system, so it's gonna get changed heavily as it gets used, you know, all that sort of stuff. But VD in-game content chat. So these are some of the structures that you can make, and here are the other structures that you can also make. These are the second one are going to be more of living structures. And
How
all
many
that.
soul coins do we have in total?
You have a total of 8, I believe, unless I'm wrong. Let me check. I'll go over all of your materials right now.
Yeah, what does time 1 mean?
I'll go into that in a minute. That basically means, because you guys know how time works, I'm pretty sure I gotta fact check it, but it means how many weeks it'll take. Like so some structures, because I gotta actually, you know, design it. So it'll take 1 week for me to do this, or it'll take 2 weeks for me to do it, depending on how big the project is. In reference, it'll take whatever the heck these builders that he's referring to, it'll take them a week, using quotation marks, to build.
And what the hell's a battle ring?
Right.
Okay, I think he's gonna get into what these things are.
Okay.
Yeah, I can go further in depth, but let me go over the resources that you guys got. So for Valley of Dreams, you have, hold on, today is the day. Let me deduct all of your food. All right, so you have 4 Warforged, so you have a total of 6 food at the moment. You're out of water right now. And I need 2 people to choose to go dehydrated until you get more.
Agni will go dehydrated.
All right, Agni will go dehydrated. Who else?
Azora definitely would give whomstever water before herself, so.
All right. So you guys can go into the Soulbound character status chats and change it to dehydrated, but everybody is fed. So 6 out of 10 food, 0 out of 10 water, 2 out of 10 mana crystals, 3 out of 10 materials, 4 out of 10 medicine, and 8 out of 10 soul coins.
Question. We can make up to like level 2 structures because we're level 2.
Yes.
Is it going to stay like this, or is there a chance we could be level 3 next session and then we can do level 3 structures? Just curious.
If you ever hit level 3 for whatever reason, you can start making level 3 structures whenever that happens.
Okay.
Well, Zoro said it is probably within our best interest to go begin collecting materials and then let these soul coins do their job. Now, out of character, I'm even though I don't know what a battle ring is, I'm guessing the best things we need right now is the small watchtower and defensive walls.
That's what
Yeah, I was thinking the same exact thing. Yeah, same exact thing.
And the animal pin for Hedwig. No, let me stop.
Not a garden? You don't think a garden will help?
Oh,
Not
man.
right now. Not during war. Especially when we got all this bear meat over here. We good off food.
Yeah, we eat well off the bear meat and pelt.
That's right. All right.
5 soul.
So, from what it sounds like, everybody's in agreement with this watchtower as well as the walls. Okay, let me check all the stuff with that. All right, how many walls is it? 20 squares. Whew, that's a lot, especially for this map. All right, so here's what we'll do. Can you guys draw on the map? Is that a thing you guys can do?
Let's see.
Measurements. What's the tool for drawing?
Okay. If you can't draw, then that's fine. Here's what you guys can do then. You guys can just move your tokens. You can like straight up arrange your tokens on where you want to place stuff. So where do you guys want to place, I guess, the watchtower? And then after that, we'll go into the walls of where you want to place that.
Can we get a little details on the watchtower? Like,
Sure
get some
thing.
details on it?
Okie dokie. I gotta go flip through the
either
old
way,
manual.
Azura would suggest to be in the middle, so that way
Yeah,
someone could
yeah.
just rotate and see all the angles.
That's what I was thinking. I was wondering how big it was and how many people could be in there.
Yeah, give me a bit. I gotta go find the document all over again. So it's gonna take a second.
my first thought is to have like Mao and Philo, if I mean Philo's massive, so it depends on the size. Kind of have them in the watchtower, um, and then have everybody else more on the front lines at different walls.
This fucking Max. This man said we're getting Clash of Clans in here now. Oh my god.
I mean,
That's a whole fact, though.
doesn't putting them in the watchtower kind of make them exposed though at that point? Because if somebody were to sneak up on them, people are gonna look and be like, and see them first. You know what I'm saying?
If the watchtower is one tall and we're defending all the other points coming around,
You're
unless
referring
somebody
to the where is
attack,
the small
should be
watchtower
fine.
is? Okay.
But either way, a watchtower out here definitely would help us know where the enemy's coming from.
Mhm.
Yeah, like they would only get attacked from ranged items, right? Which any of us they would get attacked from a ranged item anyway. You get what I'm saying? Because the watchtower is going to be up.
Yeah, at least this way we still have like some type of information going on.
Okay.
And probably could help get like mechanical.
All right, so I have
benefits.
the rough details of the watchtower. So here, I'm gonna see if I can draw how big it would be, and leave it there. So it has 2 floors, and it is essentially is this right? Thank you RPG for the raid. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate that. Did it do it? 25 by 25. So this thing is massive. Like all things considered. I'm trying to get the thing. There we go.
That makes sense.
It's about this big, and it is it is inside, or you can walk inside it, but you can also stand on top of it.
Okay, that's different. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's not what I was thinking. But
Yeah, that's massive. So what I'm thinking with
Thank
the watchtower
yeah, sorry about that, guys. Thank you RPG Gaming for
Mao
or
could
RPG
potentially
for
have,
all
like,
the raid and all that
various
stuff. Thank you guys
artillery,
so much.
going through
I am a little bit
floors,
preoccupied
and
as
then you
obviously
can
I'm
like, do
dungeon
ranged
mastering at the
attacks
moment.
from the
So
watchtower,
that being said,
along
sit
with
back,
Philo
relax,
being able
enjoy
to
the
cast
show,
spells from the
and yeah,
watchtower
thank you
at
guys
a
so much.
longer
Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves, and hope the stream went
Maybe
well as
some
well.
more, and be higher up.
well, as long as they got cover, I guess was my concern. So
Yeah, so watchtower. So we're thinking watchtower in the middle, and then defensive walls around the perimeter.
yep.
Seems like the most basic thing.
Yeah, that's fair. So we have 3 materials, so we need to get 6 more.
Yeah. Azora will say, well, let's spend the next hour collecting materials and see what we could bring back. But for now, we could get the soul coins working on the defensive walls. Because I think, yeah, we have enough materials and soul coins for that, at least the walls. And we just have to go out and get the materials for the watchtower.
Yep. So which one do you want to build first, if you have a choice right now?
The walls, I figure.
Yeah,
We have the material for the walls right now. So
All right. So if that's the case, where do you want to place the walls at the moment? You guys can just, I guess the best bet is literally to drag your tokens and then tell me where you want to put it, and like ping and all that stuff. And I'm gonna draw it.
Is the map as is where there's like an actual opening to the west and actual sort of opening to like the north area?
Yep.
Or
Yep, that is all correct.
Well, then, yeah, probably the cover those points would probably be the best bet.
maybe even like double cover them?
Yeah, like two sets of walls to go over. Yeah.
Yep, and keep in mind you have 20 squares worth of walls.
See, because like that's like 5. If you cut it right.
So where do we want the openings to be?
Like when we put up walls, like we have a way to access the walls. You know what I'm saying, or is it just like we got a wall up and we got to get over it? How does that mechanically
That's
work?
what I'm saying. Where do we want the opening to be?
So the
I
walls,
got the-
because you guys are only at this tier, they are pretty much made out of wood and stone. That's really pretty much it. And yeah, you can climb over them if you want. They're not necessarily like barricades or anything. They are walls that people would probably have to try to climb over. So if you really want a visual, imagine the spiked walls that or like typically like you know, orc tribes use, you know.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying it's probably best that, like, hypothetically have like an opening here, so that
Right.
way, you know, we could fight and like if someone tries to go on the sides
This
or
one.
whatever, it's like we don't have to worry about
No,
that
there's
as much.
there's a better thing for this.
But we could like hold it down at these entrances.
I'm gonna make the grid a lot easier to see for a moment.
And I guess we could kind of like when you're saying double it up, like kind of zigzag it
Let me
where
change this.
like where you're at right now. You could do one, let's say like across here with an opening, and then another one coming across the other way with an opening over here on this point. So like they can't just like walk on in; they'd have to walk in and go around more wall before they came in.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Hey, you're making the choke point longer.
Yeah.
Alright.
So yeah, doubling those up would make sense.
Okay.
We'll still have.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. So where you this? I hate that you guys can't draw. I wish it was like roll 20 for a second. That'd make this so much easier. All right. I guess actually, if you really want, y'all can get creative this way. You guys know how to use snipping tool and all that?
Yep.
Straight up screenshot the map or screenshot your screen and literally draw whatever or where you want the defenses to be placed. That'll make this 10 times easier.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna make the grid as like visible as possible for you guys. There you go. Alrighty. And that is how you all do that. So, and you guys can still obviously converse and whatnot. So I got walls and I got the watchtower, but they need the watchtower for they need the materials for the watchtower. Simple as that.
Yeah.
All right.
As Zora, she's gonna leave, you know, the strategizing of the defenses and all that to you, Agni, and I guess she'll go out and start looking for materials.
Then
Or
Gore will go out and
Agni would definitely suggest, not just you, but I mean, Addy Dark is definitely someone that knows the wilds. Like multiple of you guys should go. It should just be like one or two.
Hannibal will actually
Maybe-
mention and say, well, I agree with Agni, but I have an idea. Go, Addy Doc, where are you?
zoom on over.
Where's Addy?
Walked over casually.
Even. Oh. Actually, do we? Though he'll ask. Do we wish that young Cora decide to join you too, or does she stay here and defend just in case?
You asking her or asking us?
Just I guess in
what would-
general. Yeah.
What would you prefer for?
She wouldn't care.
Yeah.
And I think Gore will be like, "Quiet one, you stay here with them. There's no need in risking us all." And Quick one, and the furry one and I can go ahead and salvage. And if there's anything out there, we'll take care of them.
I know just the probably the area to look for materials. I passed by here passed by there not too long ago the other day. But
Observant one, I expect nothing less of you.
though I chose you two for a specific reason. There, in that forest not too far from here, I believe there to be a creature or a beast that seems to reside there. Maybe even guarding the materials or whatever. If you can, to help with your training, and look towards Gore, you can seek to try to hunt that creature down. I believe Adidok, the way they carry themselves in their attire, they are most likely an expert hunter as well. They can assist you, as you should never go alone when hunting a beast like that. If if you can help it.
Bet. And go over like,
Ah, furry one. Let's let the hunt begin then. Point us the way, observant one.
As he does, he'll look over and point in the correct direction. Past that of the, kind of past the area where the bear was. When you are ready, you can head that way and through the woods and over the bits of the valley. Return back with the trophy. Look towards the both of you.
and
Furry one. We have some crushing to do. Quick one, are you joining us?
It would seem this is your crucible, Gore.
Ah! Understood. Time for fun.
Alright, go will be amped. He's just going direction. Be about that life.
Alright. They begin to dash on off. That said, alright. You guys continue over there. Everybody else, real quick. Mao will begin to sort of look around and say, hey, oh, here, never mind. He'll just look over at Zaman and just say, I was looking for you. You and Cora, I don't know if Cora does much of the sort of whole tinkering thing, but I know you do. Care to give me a hand and whatnot with making these sort of defenses? A couple of the more sort of mechanical things.
The mom would say, yes, I would be glad to assist you.
All right. Where was I?
You would call over to Cora and say, Cora, remember you helped me with this armor. You could probably help us with this as well if you're interested.
Just nods.
Easy enough. All right, well, let's get going. That said, Mao will begin to start, or kind of going off to the side and start sort of tinkering a little bit and talking amongst one or both of you, helping you guys out. And then Hannibal will look towards Philo and nod, and you'll see as Philo starts marching or walking over, and then look towards the likes of Azora. Yes. Do you need something?
She'll say, ever since I seen you take out that bear, something I've come to understood. Your skill with the blade is definitely one of a seasoned warrior. Perhaps while in the midst of them collecting materials and those over there getting ready to build the defenses, perhaps we can spar, or you could pass down some of the knowledge you have learned in your time here in Vodan.
He sort of smirks for a moment. Is that a challenge to a duel for a sparring match?
She nods and she says, "It would be an honor."
Well, that being said, seems to be it's time to add another clash of dragons to my belt. He will begin to...
Don't know what that is, but does not sound like a spar.
You asked for the smoke, bro.
Oh, boy.
He turned it up to like 2.
To pass down some techniques.
That's not how he gets down, bro. That is not how he gets down.
Way to
You
pass
gotta
it.
learn from the school of hard knocks.
That's right.
I see this the Cobra Kai way.
That's right. Oh, man. He'll just say... Well, nah, he'll just keep it at that. and just look over and mention, with me, I have an idea. Have you ever done... Have you ever done the sort of... how do you say it? The sort of mental battles and whatnot of honing the minds first. Using the bits of the dream mist and more.
This is not something I've ever even heard of. Would this be something she would ever heard of?
Make a history check, maybe, as a Zora, you know. Oh man.
Disadvantage.
Oh, man.
12. A dream miss. Only miss you've really seen is like that one fog. So,
Yeah, she'll say, this is nothing I've ever even heard of.
All right. Also, you have received a D10 inspiration die from your fellow Oculi and Zale.
Oh.
Oh.
Kick his ass, he says. Oh man. Well, there is a small sort of opening over there. I believe that I saw the dream mist earlier. Reside there. That is where we spar. You will see what I mean when it is time.
Yeah, she'll nod and she'll say, looking forward to the lesson.
That said, he will begin to pretty much just go off and do his own thing and start pretty much making sure his blade is taken care of and more.
Azura, for the upcoming battle, I hope I can count on you to lead whatever side I'm not on.
She'll, holding the hilt of her blade, she says, of course, as you may not remember, but I am no stranger to combat, nor will I allow any of my allies to fall so long as I remain breathing.
I might not remember it, but it's quite clear.
And yeah, she like pats your shoulder as she goes to walk over here, wherever this mist spot is.
Keep in mind, Hannibal he's still preparing or whatever at the moment, so he's just
okay.
sharpening his blade, making sure everything's good, you know. So.
Yeah, he's serious. Jeez.
Yeah, you see her over here, kind of like what she was doing the day prior. She's trying to like the deep breathe in and out to see if she could recreate that like ice effect, but she's just kind of struggling to do it.
Oh man. All right. That said, we'll get to that eventually. And then Philo will begin to just slowly lumber over and just walk over to the likes of you, Agni. Kind of, wait, hold on one second. It will just sort of get your attention, sort of tap you on your shoulder and whatnot.
Oh, yes, Philo.
If I may, could I simply ask you a question?
Go for it.
You'll see as he begins to sort of, and you get the sense, like with your passive insight, that this is probably gonna be, or it could be a longer question, you know? And he sort of sits down, sort of still kind of leaning on his staff, and begins to say, this is one, but I've noticed the way you sort of carry yourself, the way you sort of stride forward, the way you speak and more. But to keep it blunt and straightforward, I must ask, why are you angry?
Agni would be a little bit taken back at that question. as no one has asked him this, even though it's been a really short period of time. He sort of has a long, dramatic pause as he thinks about it. Eventually, he would respond with, "I'm not quite sure, if I'm being honest, Philo. There's very little I'm sure about right now. But inside of me, excuse my use of this, there is a fire burning. I feel upset most of the time. And I think when this is all said and done, I'll know why. It has to be something I've forgotten."
That may be true, but a secondary question. If you are upset or angry, oh boy, why do you take it out on others or bits of life that don't really deserve it? Like the forest, when I first met you.
In a moment of time, it feels good. Relieves the anger inside of me. From what I could see, it hurt nobody.
Arguably fair. That might be true. But why not, or why channel that wrath into something you could assume to be nothing when you could channel it into something to expunge evil or your foes? Something to maybe even defeat the strong, to help the weak to make them strong as well, like you.
Agni will think to himself about that. I'm not sure. Everything that I've been taught, that I can remember, is if I do that, those people will continue to be weak. If I don't help them, we might lose some, but the ones we don't lose become stronger.
That may be true. But, as you said, you've been taught. You refer to everything that you know as if you follow something, or someone, or even maybe a predisposition of what you believe you are supposed to be. Why not, instead of following, you instead you teach or you lead? You seem to do it with the way you carry yourself and you command forth. You seem confident in certain things, but you do seem uncertain with this one.
So what do you propose? I change how I go about things for the sake of others?
Well, there's one way you could do, but I'll kind of sit back and think. I believe it says it all begins with first figuring out and thinking of, well, what you want to do, what you want to be, and how you want to leave your mark. He'll sort of chuckle to himself. I wanted to be an adventurer. It didn't turn out well. But I knew what I wanted to do. Tell the stories to my people. Teach them enough more. But I had a goal. I strived for it. Do you have a goal?
Everyone has a goal. Whether they admit it or they don't, there's always something everyone is looking forward or working towards.
Then, is your goal to burn down forest? Or is it something more?
My goal is not to burn down forests. Let me make sure that is clear. That was more of a side effect of what happens when I get upset. I don't quite know exactly what my goal is just yet, but it has nothing to do with just burning down forests. There's more to me than burning forests down.
Well, if that is the case, then you asked if you should change to sort of do these things. Or change to lead others to help and assist with your goal. And maybe in time, you'll assist with theirs and they'll assist with yours. But it all begins with trying to really sort of figure out, well, what you want and how to strive towards it. Channel all that energy, all that sort of strength and power that you command with fury into something that can help get closer towards that goal productively.
And what makes you so knowledgeable on this? You wanted to be an adventurer, he said. Why are you not anymore? It can't be just because of age.
Well, you see, I was unfortunate. When the Starry Ones attacked, and the entire world was coated in that astral light. Not everyone remained the same afterwards. People lost their memory. Others, like myself, actually aged further. Mike and Ed's, well, we don't really live long to begin with, so you can probably understand what happened.
Agni would let out a very light chuckle, hearing that, basically relating that my race doesn't live long either compared to others.
So the cookie crumbles. But even though that did happen to me, it did not change what my goal was. I wanted to still be an adventurer. I wanted to tell my people of the stories and the knowledge I accrued, so then they could learn how to be even better for the next generation. Whether that be teaching or leading, well, as long as they live a happy life.
You know, whatever afflicted you might have aged you, Philo. But you're definitely wise beyond your years. I will take your advice into consideration.
Being said, we'll see as he nods to you.
Oh, one more thing, Philo.
Yes.
This area, would there happen to be a large forest of just bamboo?
Oh boy, hold up. I gotta get the map. Give me a second. Can I look at it up here? I believe so. I mean, there are a couple of bamboo forests, but I believe there's one not too far from here. Do you need directions to them?
About how far would you say?
Probably an hour, not too far. Maybe less than that.
Good to know. Thank you, Philo.
And also, and last thing. You are a spellcaster in nature. If you need to, though I don't exactly know where you get your magic from. If you do need assistance in the arcane arts, I can at least provide a little assistance this old druid knows. And that said, he will sort of nod to you and begin to start sort of going off and doing his own thing. That said, Agni, is there anything else you'd like to do?
As he walks away, he kind of just looks at him. He sort of looks at his hand with his mark. Again, he sort of like closes his fist and opens it. Loses himself in thought for about a minute and kind of shakes his head and just gets back to starting to figure out exactly the best placement for the walls.
Easy enough. And as you begin to do that, Agni, you strategizing and figuring out placements for the walls. Korra and Zaman tinkering with the likes of Mao as he tries to understand your warforged nature and more. Gore and Addydark hunting down the creature, but also getting materials necessary for everyone's survival. And Azora preparing herself for, as Hannibal referred to as, the Clash of Dragons. You all look up, and you see as the sky begins to shatter once more, and it turns from a brightened sky of day to a darkened sky of a night. And as that begins to happen, oh boy, you guys all witness as you feel just a little bit stronger and ready. You're readying yourselves to take on this new battle. That being said, all Soulbound groups hit level 3. And that is where we will end today's session.
Oh shit!
Oh boy.
Don't say Valley Dreams never did anything for y'all.
Oh man.
Zaman
Wait. Tutorial Island is officially over.
Zaman slapping Mal. Zaman almost getting Hannibal. Cosmic Death. That got us the XP we needed. Let's go, let's go. Let's go.
Oh man.
Zaman said if Sensei don't give us, mobs to beat on, we beat on the NPCs. Let's go.
That's how he's farming one way or the other.
No, bro. That said, all Soulbound groups will hit level 3 at the end of their sessions. Now, you guys will, as you can probably tell, next session is going to be the training arc. It's going to be the training arc.
Ooh, Demon Slayer.
Cue the Rocky music.
Right. So this is going to be something. But I need, so I'm going to leave the screen or whatever on this map so you guys can start strategizing. I'm going to have to eventually change it. I'll probably change it like Thursday. But you guys can start figuring out where you want to place all the walls and all that stuff and drawing them out, and then I'll start making them and adding them.
Yeah, I mean, I put them in the Discord. We can talk about this throughout the week, all of us, about my thoughts, because we still have extra walls.
But oh man, it's time. It is time. So yeah, all soulbound groups, they're gonna hit it at the end of their sessions, and we'll go from there. So, but if do you guys want to roll for HP? I know it's a little bit late. Do you guys want to roll for HP now, or you guys want to roll for at the beginning of the session, next week?
I'm good for it.
Because I don't think I'll be
this out of the way.
I'll keep it a bean with you. I don't think next week's session is gonna be too long because it's not gonna be too much besides like you guys doing your own personal training stuff. So I mean, it's up to you.
I mean, we could RP for hours if you get us that time.
That is true. All right, yeah, you're right.
We'll sit here for hours and just flap.
I got you.
All day, bro.
Let's
right.
roll for this HP.
All right, let's do this. So, you guys know how we do. So we roll for HP, but you can't roll below the average. Anybody want to go first?
Azura will.
All right, so you're gonna roll a D10, and you're gonna add +2 to this. Let's see what you got. Oh, that's a big 9.
Wow.
You are standing at 31 HP, Azura. Oh man, oh man. Hold on, actually, let me write all these down because it's gonna mess up. Because you guys are gonna have to start adding your subclasses and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do the D&D sheet, yeah.
Yeah. So one thing to note, for you, Gore, your subclass, like we finished it literally today. It's just not on D&D Beyond yet.
Okay. Yeah. I was curious about that because I know that mine is extra. Whatchamacallit.
Or you are welcome, bro. Your subclass looks fire.
Oh,
Does
man.
it?
Yeah, this shit's crazy.
Hey man, that's why I went with the lore. I went for what made the most sense for Gore.
The group collab on that was dope, Sensei.
Yeah, y'all gave a bunch of good ideas. But all right, let's keep it moving. So, who is next? We got Azura, and then who's after?
I'll roll next.
All right, Agni,
I
you're
roll a
D6.
D6 for sorcerer?
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
3. Well, the good thing about it is sorcerers and wizards, they benefit the most from this because they always roll the average or higher, you know? So that is a 4 + 2, so you gain 6 HP. You get to from 15 to 21. 21.
God,
21.
That's right.
21.
All right, so that's Agni. Who's next?
There's good.
I'll go next.
But then also I got to go into the speech afterwards. Most of y'all already know what it is, but I'll explain it a second time. Once y'all hit level 3.
What do I roll?
You're
D8?
rolling a D8. You're a cleric. And all right, let's see how much HP Cora has. Cora has 18. Okay. That's gonna be 4. It rounds up to 5. So Cora, you gain a total of 7 HP. So you go from 28 to 25, or 18 to 25. All right, not bad, not bad. All right, who is 4th?
I'll go next.
All right, Zaman, you're a D8 because you're a druid. 2, it rounds up to 5. So you go from, hold up. You go from 17 to 5 + 2, 24.
24.
All right. We got Gore and Addy Dark last. Which one's going next?
I can go. What I roll?
Addy Dark, you're gonna roll a D12. Oh shoot, and Addy Dark gets the freaking elemental or Path of the Elemental Fury now. Oh shit. 4, so that's gonna round up to, I think that rounds up to 7, but I gotta see. Average of a D12. It's either an 8 or a 7. Mean value 6.5, so that rounds up to 7. Okay, so 7 + 3, you gain 10 HP, so you go from 30 HP to 40.
Take man, yeah, that's him.
Yeah, damn.
Let's see. What does Gore roll again?
Gore rolls a D10.
That's what we do. We live in that.
Oh yeah, the tanks. All right. So D10 + 2. Yep. 6. That averages to 6. So you gain plus 2 HP. So 8. 24 plus 8, you go to 32 HP. Damn. Alright. So Azora, you get your subclass of the Sword Master. If you assume that you're still going with it. Agni. Yeah, I figured. Agni, you get meta magic, so you get to look and choose on which ones you want to get for that one. Cora, you get, I believe, 2nd level spells, but I feel like clerics get another thing at 3rd level, unless I'm crazy. But you get 2nd levels. Okay. Makes sense then. Because you got your Channel Divinity 2nd level, and then you also got your subclass 1st level. Yeah, that makes sense. So Cora's going to be using 2nd level spells now, and they are crazy. Zaman, same thing as you, with 2nd level spells. Addy Dark, you get your entire subclass, becoming the Path of the Elemental Fury. And Gore, you get your subclass, which is still work in progress name, but Order of the Yokai Spirit. Oh boy.
Sounds appropriate.
It's gonna be insane.
Do we do it on D&D Beyond? Do we still?
Yeah, so make sure if you guys ever because it's going whenever I import them, it's going to take all of your like stuff that you gained like throughout the sessions. Like if you picked up a random javelin or you picked up a random item, it's just gonna delete itself from your inventory whenever we switch over. So if you have anything special in your Foundry inventory, mark it down, and then once we import it, then I'll add it back again. But the last thing that I say before, or in the last 30 seconds of the session, all that, if you haven't watched Rime of the Frost Maiden when they hit level 3, I'll explain it now. Up until this point, everybody, this has been the tutorial of Soulbound. I've been taking it easy upon you and just allowing you to get the ropes and learned the likes of level 1, level 2, and eventually now level 3. As now, you've gone through, for most of you, you've gone through several boss fights, but others have gone through their first boss fight, multiple combats, learned how sort of the role-playing aspect and even the exploration aspects go. However, now it's time for the persistent universe and the open world to truly be take effect. As I've been able to keep things away from you for now, but now it's time. If you run into stuff, you run into it, and you can choose to fight or you can choose to flee. The choice is always yours and always will be. That said, I also should mention, because it's been the tutorial land, and especially because we've had new players, in general, I've been taking it easy on you at this point. For Valley of Dreams, and for the most, not necessarily in combat, as you guys have seen, you guys have been playing longer, but in general exploration, I most definitely have, in allowing you guys to sort of circumvent deaths, specifically of the cosmic variety. I'm looking at you, Zaman, and I'm also looking at you, Gore, you, Azora, Cora, and more, in the likes of Sands of Sin, with you being transported to the Dream Realm and more. That won't be the case any longer. If you suffer cosmic death, you suffer cosmic death and you are erased from existence. You guys have the necessary tools and knowledge to be able to survive from here on out. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to help you guys. Of course I'm going to help you guys. What the fuck? Of course I am. But things will no longer be easy anymore. So, it's time for you guys to use everything that you've learned and also rely on each other, as you guys have figured out pretty easily. Whenever you split, whenever you guys go off by yourself, it doesn't end well. So you guys got to use each other and work as a team if you want to survive the likes of Odin. So, all right. That said, I gotta do this same sort of speech with all the Soulbound groups. That's it. Let's take
Rock Lee weights are off finally.
The Rock Lee weights are off. All right, I'll be right back, guys. I'll talk to you all in a bit.
All right.
All right, so. All right, that said, it's time, boys. It's time. Welcome to, thank you everybody who decided to tune into the stream. My name is SenseiSuplex, and I am a professional dungeon master who runs a giant persistent universe known as Project Aurora. Basically, it features several dozen campaigns that all take place in the same universe that can affect each other in big or small ways, including this one. This game actually affects Secrets in the Sands, Valley, or And pretty much almost all of them, right? Almost all of them, in some way, shape, or form. But the point is, everybody can get involved in the world, in the world building aspects, and the creations of the lore, even subclasses and more, and all the other craziness. But they can also affect the sessions in real time using channel points and a whole bunch of other things. And also now, I guess I can reveal this. I'm gonna start working on it now. But all Soulbound groups can now redeem channel points to gain resources, or to gift and gain resources. Now, granted, it's gonna be expensive, but you guys can do so now. But yeah, hey, if that sounds any remotely interesting, be sure to leave a follow, like Pinwarp too. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you, buddy. And yeah, also be sure to check me out on all the social medias if you want to be informed whenever we go live. And hey, I guess the other thing, because I gotta make sure I mention it, I do this for this is my full-time sort of job and all that stuff, besides me going to college and doing all those things. So hey, if you want to support me monetarily and make sure that I'm able to keep doing what I do, then hey, consider supporting me on the Patreon. Go check it out there, or even consider gifting a sub or subbing to the channel. It does all help out and keeps the bills up. So hey, appreciate you guys. You guys are freaking awesome. That said, I think that's everything I got. I don't think there's anybody to raid, because I don't think anybody on the stream team streams this late. Let's see. Gotta always check. Oh, the Nat 30s are live. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go rate them. Gotta always shut up, me. Oh, the Nat 30s are live. Okay, I said, yeah. Shut up, me. Alright, we're gonna go raid our Twitch team, the Nat 30s, and we're gonna go give them a little bit of support. We're actually 9 followers away from the 1.2k follower goal on all that stuff. So hey, we're living the dream, All right, I'll see you guys later. We're gonna go raid over to them. Also, thank you, Rick, for the follow. Make that 1,192. All right, Nat 30s, boop. Gonna start the raid. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys when I see you guys. Bye. Have a good one. Oh man, where's the stream ending screen? Here it is.